Definitely not the best lighting in the world here, but we're up in my master bedroom because I've got some new speakers that I'm gonna try up here. Some budget speakers that I think could be good for a lot of people based on what I've heard about them. So let's open them up and we'll see what we got here. All right, so we got the Dayton Classic B65. Now the whole reason why I even got these was I watched a Steve Guttenberg, the audiophiliac, he did a review of these, or he did an end of the year thing, best products, and this one was on there, and these are a $70 speaker. So this has always been kind of my budget oriented setup up here, although a lot of my setups are kind of more budget oriented, but these are ELACs that I bought for I think 70 bucks when they first came out on Amazon. Now I don't know what they cost now, I think more than that. But either way, I wanted to see, you know, if I could still recommend a speaker that's under $100. So let's pull these guys out and see what they look like. Whoop. With some footies and some speaker wire, so that's cool. All right, so these are a vinyl wrap speaker. I went with just the black, just as mainly it was cheaper, $10 cheaper and free shipping, as opposed to, for whatever reason, the wood ones were $10 more and had shipping, so I went with just the cheapest I could get them. So I think these to my door were $74, something like that. They still are a good looking speaker. They don't feel super heavy duty. It's pretty lightweight, honestly, which you would expect for this money. But I mean, I'd say it's a handsome looking speaker. It's definitely got retro vibes to it for sure. You know, around the back, you've got some decent binding posts there. I mean, they're plastic, but they do take banana clips, which is what I wanted. I always appreciate that. 6.5 inch woofer, little dome tweeter there. You know, we'll look at the specs a little bit closer here in a minute, but let's get these things hooked up. You just see they're a little bit bigger than the ELACs here, both. Actually the ELACs feel they're a little bit deeper. You know, if we pop off this, we can see what the ELAC has going on here. You can see the ELAC only has like a 4-inch woofer compared to the Daytons here. As far as weight goes, the ELACs are significantly heavier. Okay, significantly heavier. As far as looks go, I don't know, a wash I would say. They both look pretty good. I would say build quality is very similar. Okay, so I've had a little bit of time to spend with the Dayton B65s, and you know, it's kind of a mixed bag, if I'm being honest with you. For all of this, you have to keep in mind that these are $70 speakers, and as $70 speakers, I think they do a pretty good job. I don't think they make any huge missteps, but let's go ahead and run through a few specs before we get into the details of the sound. Okay, so just reading off the spec sheet here, they're rated at 55 to 20,000 hertz. I don't think they get anywhere near 55 hertz, just to be clear, at least not in any sort of meaningful way. They have a sensitivity of 85 dB, and they're rated for 40 watts, 75 max, and recommended power is somewhere between 15 and 16, and they are rated at 6 ohms. This is a sealed enclosure. It's got a 1-inch silk dome tweeter and a 6.5 inch poly woofer. And as far as just the size of it, 13 inches tall. So when I was listening to these, I thought they sounded reasonably good. I never felt like really dazzled by them, but I also never felt that they made any huge missteps. If anything, I would just say they're tuned kind of more on the safe side, where they just sound a little dull and flat to me personally, especially comparing them to the ELACs here, which is their 4-inch passive, which we'll talk more about those here in a minute. But
Timbre is good on these guys. I don't feel like they have a lot of high-end sparkle, and they don't have a lot of low-end either. The low end is clean, like both ends of the spectrum are clean. They just don't do anything that's really impressive. But again, they don't do anything terribly wrong either. So what I have here is my ELAC 4-inch passes, which is like the BS41s or something like that. I'm not even sure if you can really get these anymore. I bought these like a couple years ago, and I bought them open box on Amazon for like $55. So considering that, I guess I'm just gonna come out and say it that I think the ELACs are a much better speaker. They have way more low end, they have more sparkle up top. It just is a bigger space, natural feeling presentation. I can be convinced when I play music and movies and things through the ELACs, like I just kind of forget about the speakers and I just, you know, enjoy the content. With the Dayton B65s, I think they sound okay, but I feel like I was always painfully aware that I was just listening to, you know, some little speakers. And the ELACs don't do that to me. They are convincing, whereas I feel like the Daytons are not. I guess if you're saying what's the best $70 new speaker on the market, I mean, I haven't tried very many because I don't know that very many exist. I mean, the Daytons, like I said, for that price, if you're looking to buy brand new, I don't feel like they do anything terribly wrong. Are they amazing speakers? I don't really feel like it. And I think if you don't mind looking on the used market, I think you can probably find some things that are more interesting and more enjoyable, like something like the ELACs here. That being said, I mean, if you're looking to put together a cheap little system, you know, you could start with the Daytons. I think, again, they don't do much wrong. After getting them, you could maybe make the decisions of like, oh, I'd like more bass, or I'd like more top end, or, you know, you could kind of think about that stuff a little bit more. It'd give you a good entry-level starting point without spending too terribly much money. But again, I think if you're willing to look on the used market, you could probably find some more interesting things. All this listing was done, just so you know, it was done with the Acrylic BP50 using HDMI ARC. I love HDMI ARC. I think this is the absolute best way to set up like a little hi-fi home theater system. It just makes everything so simple. And then I'm running this through my old Fosi HDA1 amplifier, which is a Class AB, I believe, amplifier, and, you know, in general sounds pretty smooth and just easy to listen to. Now, if you don't mind spending a little bit more money, I could also recommend the, oh, what are those called? The JBL 305, the JBL 306P Mark IIs, I think. That's what I have in my like main living room. And those paired with something like an Acrylic make a really compelling, really decent hi-fi home theater system. And you know, you'd be spending a little bit more than what you would with something like the Daytons here and an amplifier. So all things to consider. I'll drop links to all this stuff down below if you want to explore it a little bit more. But for me, I'm sending the Daytons back. I'm sticking with my ELACs for the bedroom, and I don't really have much of a reason to look for anything else in here, I don't think. Anyway, I'll probably do a video here exploring my other systems. If you're interested in that, you know, feel free to subscribe and stick around. Other than that, I thank you for stopping by, appreciate your time, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one.